bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude,
How's the temperature?
it's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
Sup?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Senior Memorial. With the average funeral bill being over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Call 314-866-8886 or memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
The following is a paid program.
Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer. Brought to you by Missouri Wild Alchemy at MissouriWild.com.
Fear's got me living with the lights out, chained down like a prisoner in my own house. Shame cycles like a daily medication. I try but I can change my situation, cause the liar comes to rob my joy. Yeah, I'm bruised but I'm not destroyed. I'm rising like an army and you gotta hear the sound. I'm calling the angels down. I'm storming the gates of hell. Tell the devil he don't own my soul. No, I'm taking back what the enemy stole.
Welcome back to the Rough and Rowdy Show. We've got a small business owner in the studio with us, Eric Michael. We've got Ethan, Nick Schroer, standing and fighting, sick and tired of the liberal lunacy that we're going to dive straight into. We're going to talk about this small business that Eric Michael has. So let's kick us off with the standing 3 count. Number 1, Kamala and Tampon Timmy. They talk a big game when it comes to guns, but miraculously, both of them have shown that they are nothing but liars on that issue also. That's huge, hilarious news. Number 2, we've got many weird and wild things have been happening in our skies lately. And Eric and I were just talking about this before we jumped on. I recorded one of these things on my own. We've seen many things happening in Indiana and Texas. We're going to jump into that stuff, figure out what it is. And we've got a very special guest that I'll tell you about here in a second as well. And number 3, 60 Minutes is in some hot water. Are they nothing but fake news? I think so. But they had a couple different versions of an interview that they did with Kamala. And Eric's looking at me like he doesn't know about this. So he's going to even learn a little bit tonight here on Stand and Fight as we jump into that. We've got 2 incredible guests and a sneak peek at something very special we're doing here with a couple other shows on News Talk for Halloween. So I'm stoked about that. But we're going to have State Representative Trish Burns, a brand new committee dealing with toxic waste, with radioactive activity here in our state has just been formed. She's going to have her first committee hearing, I believe, Tuesday. So she's going to be on with us here next segment. And next hour, this is what I'm talking about, folks. We're going to have Frankie from the Haunted Garage is going to be here with us for at least 2 segments talking about this mashup of Saturday and Sunday shows for Halloween, talking about the paranormal. But I want to talk about the paranormal a little bit. If you go to 13rootsapparel.com, you can find some of these spooky shirts, some things like Trader Joe's.
Make Halloween affordable again.
Absolutely. We need to. But tell me a little bit. You've got a hat. I've got a hat on. Tell us a little bit about 13 Roots and what inspired you to, make something that was a hobby. It was fun making shirts that everybody wanted to buy. And now we're just putting them online for everyone to take part in.
Well, me and my business partner, we've been talking, as crazy as it is now, just to try to make ends meet and everything that's gone wrong with what?
I like those meats the best.
Absolutely. And it's just, we've gone so far from where we started as a nation, and how great it would be to go back And we really started thinking about like the roots and what this country was actually founded on, the 13 colonies. And, we had talked about, with all of the designs that you've come up with, and, we've had a lot of talks with the different ways to collab with different ideas and throwing them together. And I mean, when we started looking at it, I mean, we got something special here, and it's just such an amazing feeling to know that we're in control of our own destiny. Nobody's here to save us.
Yeah.
I'm not reliant on our crooked government to try to
Crooked Hillary
to try to, help us, with their handouts with all their strings attached.
$750.
Yeah, that's just a loan.
Yeah.
That actually they have to pay that back, which I mean, that just blows my mind. You'll get all these, no strings attached money to Ukraine, but but the 13 roots, it goes back to our founding fathers and what it really means to have a free nation. They talk about democracy. It's not, no, we're a republic. We're a united nations, even though, with all the media and our current administration, and not even just current, but our past administrations. You look at
Republican
Obama
and Democrat.
Yeah, and Republican, yes, I hate to say it, because we have conservative values. We line up with what would be the Republican side, but even they have forgotten what our ancestors fought and died for when they signed the Declaration of Independence to say that we're no longer going to be part of a tyrannical government. We're going to set forth and say everybody has an equal footing to make the best of your life.
Well, and think about how crazy that is. You think about and I sound like Joe Biden. Think about what you think about. But going back to the founding of this nation, thinking about the types of individuals that it took. I mean, you had to know, you had to have been through a lot to know the different drafts that they did of the Declaration of Independence and the different founding documents, the different amendments to the Constitution. But these guys were like 18, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And now you've got 18,
and they were
19,
grown men back then.
Yes.
Because how hard the times were back then. And now you have 18, 19, 20-year-olds that, they want to chop their genitals off. It's crazy how far, people have come, in society. We have gone backwards.
Massively.
Yeah. And I can't remember who it was. Sorry, I'm not an American history buff, but it really rang true when they said that he regrets that he only had one life to give. Yeah. And at that point where he's saying that this movement that they had, the nation that they were building, a free nation, was so important that he wished that he could have died multiple times to see it come to fruition. And just to see what we have now, and you can go to jail for doing burnouts on a pride flag, but they'll celebrate as they burn the American flag. That's where we
look
are
at what's happening right now, where our tax dollars, we're sending billions upon billions of dollars to other nations.
Yeah.
To help them kill other people.
Yes.
But we have those actual taxpayers here that are losing their lives, that have lost their property, that have lost liberty. And what is the government saying? Well, I'm sorry, we kind of ran out of cash because we've been sending it all to illegals and to other nations. But here's $750 that, like you said, there's a lot of strings attached to it that you're going to have to pay
And they
back.
did that same thing to the residents of Lahaina. And they haven't talked about that. It's been out of the media cycle for a while. And I'm pretty sure that Oprah got to buy up most of that land now. And when you put these people with their backs to the wall, where they literally have been isolated from everything, they're left with, we have no other choice but to just, let you have, they've withheld, their food, their water, they're, I guess, kind of even leaving their area. They barricaded, all the roads and bridges.
Well, that's one thing we're going to talk to Trish Burns about outside of the legislative stuff that she's going to be doing. That's so important. We also have the opportunity to talk to her. She just got back from a mini mission trip, I guess you could say, where she and others got a bunch of water and vital resources, brought them on a truck. I think it was to Tennessee. And she's got some information. I'll let her tell the story, but basically, they're stopping certain individuals from coming in and helping. They're stopping those stories from getting to the media. So we, the people, can actually see what's going on.
Yeah.
And that even ties into all this crazy stuff. And I'll kind of lay it out for you. Last Saturday, we did a rerun because I was sick. I think you had some people in your family that were sick.
It went through the house pretty quick.
Yeah. There's been a bug going through St. Charles and St. Louis County. So we did the rerun last weekend, but I was coming from, I don't know, Walgreens or a store to pick up some medicine, coming back home, and I see we've got the recording. I have not released the recording because originally when I recorded this thing Saturday night, I thought I was crazy. I literally thought, man, being sick, is it playing with my eyes? Am I having a stroke while I'm driving? And I tried to stay as safe as possible, record what I saw in the air. And it freaks me out even talking about this because I showed you the video just a couple minutes ago.
That was kind of weird. At first,
I don't have any explanation for it.
At first, I was thinking maybe it was just a bunch of towers, but
Well, I thought, I'm like you, okay, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. Were there a lot of helicopters in the sky? No,
right.
There was nothing.
Well, to me, it was a lot of the lights that were shown in the video. It was parallel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, if there was all these towers, it's in an area where the elevation is not just flat like
this
Kansas.
Is in Defiance near Augusta. There's not where these lines or line of lights were.
Yeah.
And then it went sporadic. But I saw in the sky, I recorded it. I don't know what it is. And
right.
I told my wife about this. She goes, what do you think it is? I was like, I don't know. Could it be UFOs? Because since this time,
technically
it's unidentified.
Right.
And it was flashing in the sky all over.
Stand and Fight with Nick.
And there it is again, the paranormal. It just hits us. We're going to talk to Frankie about that. But no, since I recorded that video, that was Saturday, Tuesday in Indiana. And this is all on social media. The media has not covered this. Social media has. Like many journalists of people recording it like I did saying, what the hell is this? In Indiana, I think Kokomo, Indiana is one of the hotbeds where they saw a lot of this. Texas has seen it. North Carolina has seen it. In Washington, D.C. There's been a lot of these different lights. That was Saturday. They recorded stuff Tuesday. And even last night, they saw something crashing out of the sky. I don't know what the hell it is.
Now, what you were describing.
Project Bluebeam.
Could it be? Maybe. I wouldn't put it past them. Well, when you were describing the crash in DC, it reminded me I think it was last year. Remember Montana? They had that stuff that was coming down out of the sky. Something was shot down. They didn't know what it was. I think it was around the time that the spy balloon apparently was floating through the sky. But yeah, I mean, what's crazy is we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. I say we. I mean, anybody that just wants the government to be honest. We've been waiting for some kind of disclosure. And then all of a sudden the government starts to give us disclosure. But they've lied about so much to us recently about what the truth is that now we're just like, nope, I'm not going to believe it.
Well, have you heard what Elon has said recently? He got interviewed by Tucker. And I could probably pull it up. But basically he says, look, I've been up in space. I've been as high as we can go. I've got satellites up there. We've sent rockets up there. I've not once ever seen any indication. And we've got tons of satellites. We've never had any indication that there's extraterrestrial life. And that's what kind of scares me.
Yeah.
Is okay, if he is true, if he is correct, which I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing here.
We
We question a lot of stuff. We expose it. We stand and fight for the truth. If he is correct, then what are they doing with it? Now, Elon did follow up with, look, there's a lot of patents on not alien warfare type of stuff, but different aircraft that it appears to be flying saucers or whatever it may be. We've seen the patents that kind of match what people have seen. So is that it? I don't know. But just come out. If you're the government, you work for us. What are you shielding us from?
I understand that there is some truth that they don't want to release, depending on what it is, if it's going to cause like mass hysteria. I get it. I totally get it. But I've been, hearing about the Black Knight satellite. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
What is that?
It is a metallic object that is orbiting the Earth. They've said that it's not man-made. It's not natural.
Who is they? Who are we talking about here?
Other governments that have issued, photographs or any information on it. But it's called the Black Knight satellite if anybody wants to look it up. But yeah, I mean, there are things that they've tried to explain. Another one of my fun theories that I like to hear about is, whether hollow moon or if it's a project. The moon is weird.
Cheese.
Right. What you eating?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and I think
There's a
we're
lot of
gonna-
weird stuff. We'll never know the answer because NASA just lies about everything.
Well, maybe we'll talk to Gabe Pfeiffer, or at least Frankie will talk to him about it. But I will tell you the things that they did see in DC as of last night. I think it was like 3 a.m. in DC and in I said North Carolina, it might be South Carolina, one of them. They saw something crashing out. They saw it burning, an aircraft burning out of the sky. It left this huge streak of smoke or smog, and then a lot of law enforcement. In some of these videos, you can even hear the law enforcement of these people are trying to find the crash. But I'll tell you what I'm not concerned about. I don't think Tim Walz shot it down.
No.
Whatever it was, if it was a bird, a plane, an alien, because if you've seen this video of Tim Walz, and I don't know if we've got the audio pulled up, Tim Walz trying to load this shotgun. So for those that haven't seen it right now, because I don't think our audio is working, he claims to be a sportsman. He claims to be the guy who went into combat. But
Was
he
he
can't
loading-
even load the damn shotgun.
Well, I mean, I don't think Tampax makes shotgun shells, so I don't know.
That was my comment on social media that pissed off the left like crazy. As I said, well, he's trying to figure out which side the tampon goes in. Little did he know it was a male shotgun. And I don't think it means anything to him. But yeah, the same guy that says that he knows all about guns and he can fix your carburetor if you break down. Like he's trying to be a man's man. And we're gonna play, if we can get the audio up and running in the next couple segments, a commercial that Kamala put out. And I don't know if you've seen this, but it is the cringiest thing. It's I'm a man, and here's why I'm voting for her. You have the silliest commercial, and I don't know who that is aimed at. Because if I see that, if I'm nonpartisan, non-biased, and I see that, it's immediately turning me off.
Yeah.
But Kamala, even a couple of years ago, she was talking about how, she's a marksman and she's got her gun. Even Saturday Night Live is making fun of her. I can't play that clip. We're gonna fix the audio. We think the poltergeist got us after talking about all of this insanity that I saw in the skies. But yeah, if you guys have any similar things that you saw last weekend, if you saw it this week, give us a call, 314-912-1019. We're out of the bunker. We're out of the bunker finally. We're back in the studio. Give us a call. Get on Rumble. Get on Twitter, wherever we are. I don't even know where we are, but get on there. We're going to have Trish Burns with us here talking about many things she saw when she went to the storm, fallout when she went to Tennessee, and much more here on Stand and Fight. Nick Schroer, Eric Michael, Ethan on the board. God bless you, boys.
Taking my peace back. Taking my job. Now you can have taking back what the enemy stole. We're done with all the money. This is SR1.
The news and talk
Harris is not running for perfect. She's running against Trump.
that matters to St. Louis.
Who am I introducing next? Who's next?
This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hi, this is Curtis Barks from Complete Auto Body and Repair. We're now open at our new location in Cottleville. Whether you have a newer driver in high school or you're sending someone off to college, get a little peace of mind by getting an oil change along with a systems and fluid check done by our professionals. Come in to Complete Auto Body and Repair at our new Cottleville location on Highway N, just west of Mid Rivers. Online at CompleteAB.com. Others can't compete with Complete.
Dad, and service.
Oh, yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
SR1 Sundays.
Hey, this is Aaron Dorr from the Missouri Firearms Coalition. Don't miss our new show, Shall Not Be Infringed, this coming and every Sunday as part of SR1 Sundays. Tune in for Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer at 6, Next Gen with Dane Define at 8, and my show, Shall Not Be Infringed, at 9. See you then.
SR1 Sundays.
Sunday night at 6 on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Severs JCB has amazing deals on JCB mini excavators ranging from 2 tons to 10 tons. The choice is yours to take 5 on one of these great offers. Take 0% financing for 5 years or take up to a $5,500 cash rebate and 5-year warranty. See terms and conditions for details. These offers are for a limited time, so head to your nearest Severs JCB and check out their full line of JCB construction equipment or visit SeversJCB.com.
To our brave police officers and first responders, we say thank you for risking your lives to protect us. To all the incredible volunteers who've joined hands with the David Dorn Foundation to raise funds for equipment and services, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. We stand strong with our volunteers who give their time, talent, and dedication as a shield of support for those who rush into danger. The David Dorn Foundation gives a big thank you from our heart to yours. Visit dornfoundation.com and join as a volunteer.
Hey, it's Vic. Are you worried about rising taxes? Well, you're not alone. With government spending outpacing revenue, many Americans fear a tax hike is on the horizon. But here's the good news. You have options. Chris Cooper of Serenity Wealth Management specializes in tax-efficient strategies for income planning, legacy, and growth. Chris knows your money will go to one of three places: the government, healthcare, or your family and charities. Shouldn't your loved ones come first? Don't let Uncle Sam be your biggest beneficiary. Take control of your financial future today. Visit SerenityNowTax.com for your free copy of Chris's book, The New Holistic Retirement. Serenity Wealth Management, because you deserve peace of mind in retirement. Request your free book today at SerenityNowTax.com. That's SerenityNowTax.com to get your free copy of The New Holistic Retirement. That's SerenityNowTax.com. Serenity Now with Chris Cooper.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.
Our connections make powerful things happen, uniting individuals and communities. We are Rotary. We are people of action. And together, we turn great ideas into reality by accessing our networks, our experience, and the best of ourselves to make a difference. Around the world, Rotary brings leaders together to build new friendships and to solve problems. Like in Austria, where generations work side by side to build sustainable housing and community centers. In India, volunteers run a mobile blood bank to help provide a steady blood supply for their local community. And in Taiwan, people are working hard to get vulnerable citizens the support and services they need. With over 1 million members, we know what people can do when they come together. Take action with us. Find out more at rotary.org/action.
Larry Connors, USA.
People are saying nobody's threatening this guy's life just because he has some information on the Bidens.
Larry Connors.
If you were in his position, would you feel safe?
Weeknights at 6 on News Talk STL. Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer. Brought to you by Missouri Wild Alchemy at MissouriWild.com.
Just as I thought it was going all right, I found out I'm wrong.
Is that FEMA is actively blocking shipments and seizing goods and services locally and then locking them away to state that, well, they're their own. It's very real and scary. How much?
Welcome back to round two here on Stand and Fight. I'm Nick Schroer, joined by the two E's, Ethan and Eric, and we've got a very special guest, a friend that goes way back, and now she serves with me, fighting the good fight in Jefferson City. Trisha Burns, state representative for District 63. I hope I got that right. Trisha, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Senator, for having me on.
Is it still District 63? It's kind of screwed me up after all the redistricting.
Well, it was redistricted, and a lot of the rural areas left District 63, but District 63 is the center of Wentzville. So I have most Wentzville in my district, but I don't have the entire city of Wentzville in my district, if that makes sense.
Well, a lot is going on, a lot of growth in St. Charles County, and that's something that you and I have had our eyes on, especially with all the toxic waste that the government is kind of put in our own backyard. Tell us a little bit about this first of its kind committee that you've just been appointed to chair, I think, starting Tuesday.
Yes. So our first committee hearing is Tuesday at 11 o'clock, and it's in St. Peter's. It's at the Spencer Creek Library, and the committee hearing is from 11 to 2. And the name of it is U.S. Nuclear Weapons Programs Impact on Missouri, because we have workers, we have residents, you have the environment, and obviously you have some stigmatization of some properties. And we're going to handle all of that and see what we can do and get some tangible results for people from the Missouri legislature.
And this is a huge victory, a mini victory, but a huge victory when you look at how long we've been fighting to get answers. I know you're attached to several groups that we've reported when we talked to Richard West about the grassroots efforts teaming with Josh Hawley, the Freedom of Information Act, and the information that was discovered. You've done a lot of town halls on this thing, and it's culminating in a spotlight being put on the St. Louis, St. Charles region. But I think as a whole, now a lot of people are waking up and seeing what the federal government is responsible for. Can you explain to those listening in tonight how important this is on this issue?
Well, what's awful about it is our federal government created this, and the biggest portion of the problem is just the negligence and the dumping and abandoning uranium that was enriched in St. Louis and in the plant in St. Charles that was next to Francis Howe. And I have to tell people, because it takes a bit to set in, they put the plant there after Francis Howe was operating. So they put the plant to enrich uranium for the nuclear bomb next to an operating high school. But the worst part, I'm going to take that back. That is just terrible. But they also just left it there for decades. And it was in 2018 that I really had a great understanding of what happened in St. Charles County. And I was trying to share the message. But they've done such an incredible job of trying to diminish the impact that was really hard to get through. So I knew about 2018, there was really going to be no voice that could be heard unless I got into the Capitol.
Right.
Because I understood this. And I understood I have family and friends that have died at every one of these areas. And ironically, the legislation that was created because of my own child, his cancer is still so rare, there's not even enough documentation. There would be no funding for my own child. But I still, because of the anger I had, whatever that was, motivates me to resolve this for our entire community. And we have communities across Missouri, and we have workers. Workers have a program, though. Residents don't.
Well, you've been working your butt off on this issue, going to D.C., working with different groups, going in and out of legislators' offices in the federal government. What has been the response that they've had when you've said, look, we need to get some compensation out here to the people that have, died, have had cancers, have had horrible different diseases because of what the federal government has done? What is their reaction when you explain all of this and show them the details?
Well, we have documentation. We have photos. What's happened in Missouri is still current. We have the Westlake landfill that's still leaching out into the environment. There's not even a solid cleanup plan for that. And when they realize that this is currently happening, this is still currently can potentially make people sick, right? They are shocked. And the Senate has passed this bill twice. When we go to the House, because that's where we have to battle, and the Speaker of the House, it just seems to me, it's just like, just put it up to the vote. The whip counts are there. Currently, we would pass this. And one of the glitches is the $50 billion price tag over the course of 10 years. So now harmed people are going to be capped. And they're trying to cap the amount that we give our American people. So what was so hard, and I think you could appreciate this and just even envision being in my shoes. And keep in mind, I have friends and family who died specifically, and nobody denies that. But they'll look me right in the face and go, but you don't understand. We know that we should make this right. The federal government did it. Nobody is even doubting that anymore, which actually was a big step, but nobody doubts it anymore. But it's a big budget year. And we've already given so much money to Ukraine, and we're involved in the stuff going on in Israel. This is probably not a good year.
Wow.
And so when I hear people try, like, we're talking about Tennessee too, right?
Yeah.
And what's going on in North Carolina, the floods. When I hear people say, there's enough to go around, and I'm like, I have stood feet blistered in the Capitol in D.C. while a state senator and why congressmen and women sit there and tell me your harmed people are owed, but I'm sorry, we gave it to people overseas.
I can't believe
It's
that.
happened to my face.
I do believe it, but it's unbelievable, if that makes any sense, that we have elected officials that are prioritizing non-citizens in other nations and even sending money that they know is going to end life in these other nations. But back here at home, those taxpayers that are working their tail off, they can't get the compensation because of what the federal government has done. So this Tuesday at Spencer Creek, 11 to 2. This Tuesday, the committee, very first of its kind. Tell us about some of the topics that you're going to be spearheading.
Okay, so one of the biggest things about this committee is this committee actually gives me power to compel action with our state agencies. So right now, DHS, DNR, they're really great to work with. They're really great to talk to. But they tell me there's like this invisible barrier because they're the executive side. And there's been some documents that I've uncovered in the past where I'm like, hey, why don't you come over and ring the bell and grab a legislator, grab someone like you, grab someone like me and say, I need you to put eyes on this. And there's really not a great way to do that. So I'd like to talk about that, and how we can improve communication. In fact, one of the agencies told me that if they find a problem, they usually go to DC. And I'm like, we're in the same capital. And they're like, yeah, we just don't. So we need to figure out a way to communicate some of these health and environmental issues that impact Missourians. That has to happen. So we can get behind them, right? Even if we need DC action, we still need the state to get behind them. Because that was a big disconnect, right? The state, finally DC would step up over when I'd look at the course of all these decades, but then the state was nowhere to be found, right? So now we're all working as one unit, and that's great. So this committee allows me to put action items on our state, DNR, DHSS, and have work sessions after this. So when we're done, we'll have a report, and I'll be able to have action items. That gives me much more teeth and ability. Teeth probably not great. They want to work with me, but it gives me the ability to say, okay, lay out a map. Where are we testing? What are the priorities? That's big.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that your family's been affected by this. I've actually, one of my sons plays hockey with a family and we watched this family go through it as well. Their daughter actually, got this extremely rare cancer, and just so happens that her cousin, who is, the mom's, sister, both of their kids had these rare cancers, and where they lived, it's like that.
Yeah, did they live out in St. Charles County?
Yeah, they lived out there. It's like it was going right through their backyard, basically. I don't remember exactly what area, but it was right over here locally. And their family, they've been affected by it. It's been a few years, of remission for their daughter. And then her cousin, she made a recovery through it as well. But it breaks your heart when you see families struggling with all of these things, not just the health, but also on the financial side, because you feel like you're, what options do you have? Are you getting the best treatment? Can you afford all this? There's so much going through, and then they're just saying, sorry, we don't have any money left over because we sent it over to, Pakistan for, gender studies and whatever they're trying to earmark all of these crazy, funds to. And I don't understand how our government can sit there and put so much urgency on, well, we need to make sure that we have all these IRS employees. We need to track your money, what you're doing with your money, but we can't.
While our people are sick and dying.
And then they'll try to sit there and say, well, we got to pass these Green New Deals. We got to do all these carbon taxes and this climate change initiative. And you're going, okay, yeah, the environment's important. Hey, we have this in our own backyards. Sorry, we'll get back to you on that.
Real quick, Trish, you were just in Tennessee. We kind of prefaced it. You got a lot of supplies. You were trying to help the people impacted by the hurricane and the flooding. Tell us a little bit about the issues that you saw over there.
Well, so it's kind of interesting. I saw a photo before. I mean, we all know there's mass devastation, but on September 30th, I just saw one image. And I called and I got the number to God's Warehouse. I called them and they just got off the phone finding out that 2 counties in Tennessee lost their intake building. And what can I do? And I'm a doer. And they said, we need water immediately. These people have already been 2 days without water. And it was on the road by the end of the day, picked up State Rep Renee Reuter, and she drove out there. We delivered that water. And then we ultimately, I bought 16 pallets worth of water, and within 3 days it was out there. But now they're inundated with water. This changes really, really rapidly. It's a crisis in those first 3 days, but they are now inundated. But what happened is my son's a pilot, he's coming up through the ranks. He has 1,500 hours, commercial pilot, and he was looking at these groups because they're doing airdrops where they couldn't get roads into people, and so he wanted to be a part of that. And I was like, okay, I'll go up there. I'll drive up there with you, and we'll connect. There was a guy named Aaron that he was connecting with. Well, Aaron found out that I was in the car and that I had already been there, which I think kind of vetted me because, you know, I didn't go up there and make a scene, just delivered the water and left back, but it vetted me as someone trusted. And they said, rather than come to this airplane hangar, we need you guys to go somewhere else, pull over. They called back and they connected me to two very famous, trusted locals. They're on a show called Moonshiners on Discovery Channel. And they took me from person to person who did different tours of Tennessee. And I'm thinking, I felt bad. I'm like, I'm almost doing destructive tourism when we were going to go help. And I said, why, you know, like, I want to help, but what do you want me? How can I help? Right. By going and taking videos. And they said, you are our only government that we have seen. And I'm like, I'm a state rep in Jeff City. I'm not in DC. And they said, it doesn't matter. No media has been there. This was going on. That was 8 days into this. They saw no media. They saw, while I was there, saw the first government truck. While I was there, we saw the first signs of Red Cross. Everything was being done by people helping people, neighbors helping neighbors. And they could not get their message out. Now, I've been telling everyone they can't get their message out. You can't even tag them, and you could not. Today was the first day I shared a video, and I was able to tag Kelly Williamson from Moonshiners. First time. So even though they have followings of over 80,000 people, they would get nothing out there to say to the world, nobody is helping us. And what really infuriates me is 2 days ago, I got another call from them, and they're like, Trish, it's so bad. On the mountainside, it's where Eastern Tennessee meets Western North Carolina. The rumor is that FEMA had taken this one community area, and they marked it as cleared. But some civilians went up there and motorcycles because a lot of the roads are taken down. And they told me there was 200 to 300 people that have lost their lives on that hillside.
Wow.
And that day they went and brought 56 of them down. And they had to call for more civilian, like pictures, Cessna, 172s. These are private personal planes. They are going up on that mountainside and they are dropping supplies to different areas, and they have to drop body bags to the people that are going up in motorcycles to bring them down. Civilians are not prepared to do recovery,
Right.
and they have to do it anyway.
Well, where can people go to follow you? I know you've got a election coming up, or any of these stories that you're getting out there, kind of like what we do here on Stand and Fight. If the media is not covering it, where can they go to get more information on you and everything you're involved in?
Well, I have a Facebook page. I know I'm kind of old school. Trisha Burns, state representative. I've been sharing a couple of their posts, and they do say right now they need prayers. They don't need supplies. But if people could send gift cards to like Home Depot and Lowe's, because I saw the devastation. They gave me an 8-hour tour of the devastation. And the needs keep changing. They had people sleeping in tents. They're now starting to get them moved around. Some of them won't leave their land. They still will. But I've seen shells of buildings, of homes left. They have no choice. These areas weren't supposed to flood. They don't have flood insurance. They don't trust FEMA's coming. And so they're going to have to rebuild the inside of their homes on their own dime. And they didn't have a lot of money to start with.
Well, keep us updated.
This could happen in Missouri. So
absolutely.
if we had a massive earthquake, and I'm learning from this, and I have connections, and we're going to bring them to the city, to St. Charles County, and to the state, so that we can learn how the government can flow into the civilian response instead of trying to displace the civilian response.
Well, keep us updated. Anything that you need to get on the airwaves, you can use our show. You can use this network here on News Talk STL. Trisha Burns, thank you for all that you do. And we will see you Tuesday at Spencer Creek Library for your committee hearing.
Thank you so much. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
You too. And welcome back, or we will be back. Not welcome back. We will be back. I don't know if the audio is working, but we'll continue talking. We've got a very special guest coming up at the 7 o'clock hour, but we've got so much more liberal lunacy to discuss with you here on News Talk STL. Stand and fight, baby.
AckermanToyota.com, but come enjoy the Ackerman hospitality. We'll be waiting to help you get what you want and while you're relaxing. Ackerman Toyota, #1 in 2023. Ackerman Toyota for life.
Be sure you make an appointment with the doctor, Dr. Johns. Spice things up a little bit. Novelties, lingeries, videos, oils, lube, and more. If you're looking for something out of the ordinary, Dr. Johns has you covered. Your one-stop shop destination to fulfill all your fantasy and add some zing to your love life. 3 locations in Fenton, Farmington, and Wood River. So be sure you make an appointment with the doctor, Dr. Johns, and be sure you tell him News Talk STL sent you.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents, and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. The city was booming. Unfortunately, St. Louis City streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline. St. Louis City Republicans believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. Learn more at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican Pat Curtis, Farber Treasurer.
I've got a way for you to really dress up your home, and only one guy I'd trust to do it. Michael Proctor, like doctor. Michael will personally examine which drapes, blinds, or shutters will complement your home. He doesn't just measure, he designs, and to make sure it's done right, he will install them. All this saves you money on custom-made drapes, shades, and shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. ProctorDrapery.com.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Tim Jones here for AMF Electric, in business since 1965, offering a full line of industrial, commercial, residential, electrical, and system services. AMF is a merit shop. They work successfully for all owners who favor freedom of economic choice. Yes, even on other AFL trades jobs. At AMF Electric, they're unabashedly pro-American. Call them 314-647-4066. Online, amfelectric.com. That's amfelectric.com.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
It's time that everybody wake up and pay attention.
Live and local.
Recent criminal indictment of Donald Trump. About the fourth one. The fourth one. The one he got the free gift with. I think it's a tote bag.
This is News Talk STL.
Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer. Brought to you by Missouri Wild Alchemy at MissouriWild.com.
I kicked the habit of smoking back some time ago.
Welcome back to Stand and Fight here on News Talk STL, SR1 Sundays. Just got done talking with State Representative Trisha Burns. If you missed any of that, go back to the podcast. It's available everywhere. I think Spotify, iTunes, Rumble, anywhere podcasts are found. But something that has been weighing on my mind is something that Sean Ryan unveiled. Sean Ryan in his own podcast, talking to someone that has a little bit of the inside scoop on how fake Kamala Harris is.
Also from that video.
Whoa, we just shut it down. That's a user error.
A lot of messages like to my Instagram from like actual like aircraft commanders, like squadron commanders.
No kidding.
I had a squadron commander from North Carolina reach out to me. They had to load a C-17 full of supplies just to take a photo op for Kamala, and they never sent the bird.
Wait a minute, what?
They loaded an entire C-17 full of supplies for the hurricane victims just for Kamala to go there, take a photo, take a video, and they never sent the C-17.
So that's who we're dealing with. Somebody that's more worried about how she's looking to the American public than what is she really doing to help the people in need. Now, look what Donald Trump did. Donald Trump, despite what the liberal lunatics on social media have said, he opened his Florida residence, his Florida hotels for hundreds of linemen to come there for free. He also started GoFundMe accounts, which are over, I think, 4 million now. And when Kamala Harris is going in front of people saying, we're going to give you $750, which you're going to have to pay back, we have story after story, interview after interview from not mainstream media, but little journalists talking to the mayors of these towns saying, hey, my daughter applied for this. She only got $300. You got other residents saying, we applied for it. We had to hunt down FEMA because they were stationary somewhere way off the beaten path. Couldn't get to them because we don't have gasoline. We can't get any of our supplies because they're all washed away. Finally get a hold of FEMA and we get denied the help that we need.
I don't understand how people can continue to vote for all these Democrats when they come in, they promise the people that we're here for you, we're working for you, you are what matters to us. Send us your donations, send us your this, send us your that. They get rich. They don't fix any problems. They leave office, double, triple, quadruple their net worths from the time that they started to the time that they leave, and yet want to sit here and point at the Republicans. Oh, Donald Trump is so evil. They're trying to convince a nation how bad this guy is just on his personality that they're willing to put somebody like Kamala Harris, who is not even qualified to run a company, a company either. They're willing to destroy our nation just for what? Because he wants to fix the problems.
For power.
He's going to fix the problems, or at least try to fix the problems that they use as their campaign fodder. That's all it is. They don't want to fix anything.
Well, it's not necessarily just the politicians and not one side, because I will say right here, there are politicians in the state of Missouri. There are politicians in D.C. that claim to be on our side, that claim to be of the Republican Party, supporting the Republican platform, of all those things that I support, but they're only putting on the team colors of the Republican Party so they can get in power,
right,
and push forth whatever craziness they want. Now, I'm also blaming the media.
Yes.
And I can't say it as good as Dan Bongino, who you can hear every day between, I think, 11 and 2 p.m. here. But here's what Dan Bongino said: uncovering the media malpractice of the week. We're giving a new award away. Media malpractice of the week. Tim Jones actually started this when he had his Sunday night show. We're stealing that from him. Tim Jones, shout out to you, but we're playing Dan Bongino honoring 60 Minutes in the media malpractice moment of the week.
Folks, this is a huge scandal. Listen to the two side by side. They're not even close. You tell me. Check this out.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not.
This is the new answer.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Now, you tell me. You tell me. Was the blubbering for 45 seconds that didn't come full circle to actually show you what her position was? It was just a lot of talking out of her rear.
It's just word salad.
The fact that, and this is it intentional that they leaked out the unedited? Why would you do that? Why would you leak out before you air it the unedited version? Because a lot of conservatives and a lot of independents were saying, man, we finally have a journalist that's asking these hard questions and exposing her for being the fraud that she is. But then when they air it to the American people who are tuning in, I don't even know who the hell still watches 60 Minutes, but whoever was watching it, they unveiled that they edited the clip. So the media, and we saw, I think it was James O'Keefe, OMG Media, previously Project Veritas. He would go out and do this investigative journalism where he had people undercover. They exposed one of the main producers from MSNBC, literally saying, yeah, we're doing everything that we can to attack Donald Trump and to make Kamala look good.
Yeah, that's election interference.
Well,
why aren't they?
It would be if it's helping Donald Trump.
That's true. And I think that's the clear divide. You can't say anything that's honest that the American people that will actually benefit the American people. You can only pretend, and you can, send out whatever propaganda you want.
Yeah.
Just give us your money.
Smith Month.
Yeah, right. Just give us your money and we promise we'll fix all this stuff for you. Oh, I'm sorry, Ukraine or some other country needs your money more than you do. And then they send it off. And there's no way that we can audit or tell really what are they using our money for. And then those countries then will donate to the Democratic campaigns.
Well, here's one of
and
those
other
clips.
political affiliates.
This should fire up every single person that gives a darn about the future here in America.
What would your message be to Vice President Kamala Harris and to the White House? What do you have to say to them?
Where are you? Where are you? These people have lost their homes. They've lost their businesses. They've lost everything, and they need some support. They need help. And $750 is not much help.
So there are many different interviews that you can find. Just type in North Carolina interviews, Tennessee interviews, Florida interviews. The American people are in need of help.
Yeah.
And guess what? They paid for it. Immediate help.
And they always leave them, the carrot, dangling on the string, but it's always, there's a noose at the end of it. They're not actually here to help anybody. I actually have family that live in Hendersonville, North Carolina. And I want to say it was like 11 days before they even got power back. There were lakes and ponds. Well, a lake in North Carolina, not very big, probably like 5-6 acre ponds, but like they're just gone. Like so much stuff has washed the ground away that it literally just collapses everything.
I don't know enough about it to have a full segment on this or a full show on this, but what's the deal? We've only got about a minute left, but what's the deal with the allegations that the government opened up the dam, released the dam, which flooded the towns?
I haven't heard anything to that, but it wouldn't surprise me if they created a problem so that they can offer a solution. And then
Government's good at that.
It is, and it's unfortunate that we will sit here and put these politicians up on a pedestal like they are our saviors, like they are here to help us, when they're the ones that are actually the source of most of our problems.
100%. And they should be the help.
Yeah.
They literally should be just like the person that comes over to eradicate the moles in your yard or to hang your Christmas lights if you do that. They're working for us. And I know you said your family members, it took X amount of time for them to get their power back. We've got November 5th where we can actually take the power back. We need to take the power back because it belongs to we the people and all of these elected officials out there. State level, county level, federal level, they are supposed to be working for us. So get off your butts. I know I'm going to say don't go anywhere because we got a great segment coming up, but get off your butts when it comes to this election. Urge your family, urge your friends, get out there. Get the vote no on 3 signs, get the Trump signs, put them in your yards and tell people we are the silent majority. No more. We're going to stand. We're going to fight. And this crew is going to be right back with Frankie from the Haunted Garage to talk about a very special project we're working on here at News Talk STL. Don't go anywhere.
Here's the day. And old habits like you.
This is SR1.
Tony Colombo here for Zero Res, the cleaning pros we trust with our home, and the team bringing you a great offer for the month of October. Book a cleaning this month and mention the Colombo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $75 off an air duct cleaning. Don't let the germs hiding in your home haunt your family. Call Zero Res now and take advantage of this scary good deal. Just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or when you book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Bill O'Reilly on Amendment 3.
Missouri, red state, listen to this. They have an amendment on the ballot. Amendment 3, Right to Reproductive Freedom Initiative. This is what, if it passes, citizens of Missouri voting on it, this is what would happen. Legalize abortion in Missouri for the entire 40-week term of pregnancy up to the moment of birth. All right? 2, adds the phrase pregnant person instead of woman to the Missouri Constitution. 3, removes parental notification and consent requirements allowing minors to undergo an abortion without informing their parents or guardians. 4, allows taxpayer-funded abortions in Missouri. 5, prevents women from suing if they or baby are harmed during pregnancy or during an abortion. Now, I can't imagine the good people of Missouri voting for this. Believe me, I'm an open-minded guy when it comes to politics. But this is Red China stuff.
Vote no on 3 from NewsTalkSTL.
Craving the most delicious pizza in town? Head to Monocle's on Highway K in the heart of O'Fallon. From thin crust to pan pizza, gluten-free options, and every topping imaginable. Monocle's, as you covered. Indulge in mouth-watering calzones, party-sized salads, and our famous sweet and tart dressing. Family-owned and locally operated, Monocle's serves up love and care with every bite. Dine in or carry out, and don't forget to try our banana-licious monkey bread for dessert. Order online at monocles.com or stop in today and tell them News Talk STL sent you.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jason Walker. Yet another incident of a gunman near a rally where Donald Trump was attending. Authorities Saturday arresting a 49-year-old man from Las Vegas found to be in possession of several weapons and ammo in Southern California. He was later released on a $5,000 bail. Meanwhile, the former president today taking his campaign to Prescott Valley, Arizona, where he called for raises for all border agents.
This is a group that really needs spirit because they're protecting us, they're protecting our lives, they're protecting our country. So we're going to be doing that.
Also at townhall.com, Haviv Rediger of the Times of Israel says Iran has rethought now its continued attacks on Israel once the IDF fought back.
When they watched the Israelis do that, the Iranians began to have a whole other conversation, and we've already heard them speak about it. The deputy prime minister of Iran spoke about it. I forget exactly which one it was, but it might have been the vice president, spoke about it out loud, that they are not going to have to really sprint to the bomb.
And he adds Iran is still defiant after Israel shut down a major means of attacking them.
It's ridiculous. I mean, the gumption is kind of impressive. It's just a pipe coming from 2 containers that they literally put out to sea to ships waiting in the sea. It's a pipe the size of a car, and you just drag it out to sea. That was the port. We bombed that. The only thing we left intact is a place called Safit, which is a port that has grain silos for importing humanitarian aid and grain and food.
Meanwhile, the United States is sending a terminal high-altitude area defense battery and troops to Israel. That word comes as Iran has warned Washington to keep its military forces, quote, out of Israel. More on these stories at townhall.com.
How would you define your relationship with sleep? Are there challenges, trouble falling asleep or staying asleep? Here's the thing about sleep. It's the foundation of whole body health. Good sleep is both mental and physical, and our daily performance depends on it. So how do you get to your dream state? 3 words. Beams Dream Powder, a science-backed, healthy hot cocoa for sleep. This product will single-handedly change the way you sleep for the better. Text BEAM to 717-767. That's BEAM to 717-767 for up to 40% off. Other sleep aids can cause next-day grogginess, but Dream is an all-natural blend of ingredients like magnesium and melatonin to help you fall asleep. stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. And for a limited time, you can get a special discount on Beam's Dream Powder, their science-backed healthy hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar. Text Beam to 717-767 for up to 40% off. That's BEAM to 717-7.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Jewels on Hampton, paying some of the highest prices for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Call 314-752-5000 or visit jewelsonhampton.com.
The following is a paid program.
Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer, brought to you by Missouri Wild Alchemy at MissouriWild.com.
What a miraculous song for probably my favorite time of the year. I haven't told my girls today. Welcome back, Nick Schroer. We've got Eric, Ethan. But I was telling my girls today that this time of year, when you start getting a little bit of a chill, the leaves are starting to change colors, fall, autumn, whatever you want to say, but it feeds into Halloween.
Yes.
And it feeds into all the different paranormal stuff, and just the history of it fascinates me. So I said, you know what? We've got to tap into the knowledge of the Haunted Garage, and that's why we called up Frankie, who's joining us now. Frankie Camboletta got the Haunted Garage every Saturday, 9 to 10 p.m., correct?
That's correct.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for being part of the News Talk family.
Oh, yeah, we wouldn't have had it any other way. It's non-Soros, and it's independent.
Well, tell us a little bit, for those that don't know, what is the Haunted Garage all about? I know my wife's even reached out to you, which we'll get into here later, but tell us a little bit about what you guys uncover, what you deal with on the Haunted Garage every Saturday from 9 to 10.
We cover different topics. Generally, Haunted Garage started as we're a couple guys, me and Jeremy. Basically, we love to fix up old classics and flip them, and it's kind of a side hustle. But we were always paranormal investigators, and I'm like, we're having trouble with this one car, and paranormal just means not normal. That's all paranormal means. It's just not a normal behavior. That's what it means. And so, car guys know that if you have air, spark, and fuel, then that car should start. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, right? I mean, the battery has to be working, but those are the three main components of cars running. And you can even bypass that. But the thing with everything is that, man, something was paranormal about the car, and we got to talk, and I was like, yeah, this car is like pristine, man. I'm like, but being such good paranormal investigators, we were like, you think cars can be haunted? And got into this big discussion, and we started buying cars with stories, just like haunted houses. Every haunted house has a story. But when you think about cars, when you think about transportation, you think about how much time you spend in your vehicle, how much time you love those vehicles. Now, not everybody's a car person. I get that. But for us that are, we spend so much time on these cars, so much energy. And think about all that energy being put into that car, right? All that EMF, if you will, being put into that car. Why can't there can be residual hauntings to a car where you've spent so much of your energy on? And that was kind of the birthright of Haunted Garage. Me and Jeremy have been investigating probably for the 10 years that we've known each other. And then before we even met each other, we were investigators. I've been investigating since I was 17, and I'm 47 now. So 30 years. I've been to all the major hotspots. And that's kind of how the whole concept of Haunted Garage came to be. And we just really love having this moment with our friends where we can go and try to find try to figure out, maybe there is a science to it. Maybe it's not a pseudoscience. Maybe we can get some clear evidence that there is, life after death.
Well, how did you start at 17? Was it just something just jumping into spooky places and trying to put, 2 and 2 together? Or were you actually with a team that knew what they were doing?
No, I didn't know what I was doing back then. We were even playing with the Ouija board back then. We got into some trouble with the Ouija board, and we got a little bit addicted to the board, which tends to happen. And we call them witch boards for a reason. And we had some really, bad stuff happen. And after that, we saw both sides of it. We saw the entity side. We saw the disembodied, right? So disembodied spirits, when we say disembodied spirits, what we mean is those are ghosts of humans. When we say demonic, we mean that is a different plane, right? Those are demons. These people were never human. These things were never human. It's a different species. They were fallen angels. They're also known as the Watchers in the book of Enoch. So that realm exists within the same plane as it is embodied. So it's hard when you're investigating and you're looking for malevolent when all you're getting is malevolent. So you have to really know and distinguish what those are. And so my curiosity peaked after priests got involved. I come from a long line of priests, exorcists. I'm very good friends with Father Gary Thomas, who he's a dear friend of mine. And he's basically the #1 exorcist in America for a time. Now he's retired and he teaches seminary over in Redwood City in California. But they did a movie on him called The Rite, and Anthony Hopkins was in that movie. So Tony's still a good friend of his, and they do consult on stuff like that. And so as I grew closer to God and grew closer to my faith, I wanted to battle back.
Yeah.
I wanted to help people transition if they were stuck. I wanted to help people get out of these situations. And how could I do that? Because I wasn't a priest, right? So it's very hard. So you have to join a team. You have to join a team of deliverance, but through the Catholic religion, which in my opinion, and it's a very strong opinion, nobody else can give deliverance but Catholics. We understand the rituals. We understand them more than any other sect. We usually go in to help non-denominational. We go in to help Baptists because at that point, we all have the same enemy. So that's the darker side of paranormal. The lighter side of paranormal is you have whimsical ghosts. Buster Keaton in California is one of the best ghosts. If you can get to that house, he still plays practical jokes on people. So there's light sides and there's dark sides. But it's all about manifestation. What are you going into the investigation wanting to do? Are you looking for dark? Because you're going to find it. If you're looking for light, you might find it too. So I would say people that it really rests within your energy. It's your energy. It's what you're bringing in there. Sometimes you have knuckleheads that want to mess around and play around. Demons will play back. So you always have to measure where we're at. There are places I will not go. There are just places I will not go. And one of the places I will not go is the Sally House in Atchison, Kansas. I know Tony and Deb Pickman. I know their story. I know their fight. I know they dealt with something. And I know that entity is still there. It was never cleared. So people shouldn't be going to the Sally House. And we tell them that all the time. And we're paranormal investigators. And we're investigators that basically go to major locations where we know are safe, that we don't have any demonic stuff going on. And if there is demonic stuff, most of the time, it's because people brought it there from places like the Sally House.
Now, why do you say that?
They,
why do you say people shouldn't go there? Like that's what, one of my fears of diving into something like this, because I've got a farm that I believe is haunted. The Capitol that I'm in all the time, I believe is haunted. And as you know, I think something's happened with my house. But why do you think that people like what can happen if somebody encounters one of these demon forces?
Well, I mean, not to get too crazy and stuff like that. We've known, and I've been a part of people that have been possessed. Invitations are huge. That's why witch boards and using certain devices, if you don't know how to use them correctly, if you don't know how to close a Ouija board, if you don't know how to use a pendulum correctly, if you don't know how to use dowsing rods, and you're communicating with something, and the minute you start inviting that thing into your life, the minute it goes from were you a spirit here? Yes. To can you give me numbers for the lottery? Now you've asked that of something. You've asked that of something, which means you owe something now. So anytime we're transformative, every time we're trying to change our lives, that is when things can get to the demonic realm. That's when basically trickster demons come in. And it's a really deep dive. I probably can't get into it all tonight. I don't want to scare all your listeners. Because this is the dark side of paranormal, which nobody ever talks about. Me and Jeremy, Dan Klein, who's one of the best paranormal investigators I've ever been around in my entire life. That's why we joined forces with Haunted Souls Paranormal. He believed in a lot of what we believe. You always respect the spirits. You always respect the place you're at. And if it's something dark, if it's something malevolent, you get out. And Dan doesn't get scared easy, but when Dan's scared, we all leave. Something's wrong. And it's not that he's a sensitive. It's not that he's a medium. Those things can interact with us in a way that we don't want them to, and it can cause harm. It can cause harm to families. It can cause harm to relationships. This stuff can get very dark, and it can get pretty icky pretty quick. The stuff that we do and what we want to do is teach people the correct way to investigate. That's why our investigations teach you how to use ghost equipment. It teaches you how to help people transition. It teaches you how to do the things in a paranormal investigation where you're not provoking. So when you watch this stuff on TV and they go to these haunted places like Gary, Indiana and Demon House, when they go to, you know, the Conjuring House, which that story's twisted and wrong. Bathsheba was not this demonic force. She was actually very well loved and respected in the community up there, but they twisted that around. Hollywood and TV, they really make this demonic thing. Everything's demons. It's not that way, right? It's 1% of people that, you know, go see The Exorcist are actually possessed. It's not a high number, right? It's not stories we're reading about. But the thing is that it is there, and it can happen. And so with me, Dan, and Jeremy, and Madison, another really good paranormal, which is Dan's daughter, and I mean, she just turned 21. And this kid's got the brights. I mean, she's a smart kid, and she knows that she's one of the best investigators I've ever been with because Dan taught her the right way. I would ghost hunt anywhere with Madison. Now, me and her are the chickens of the group. Sometimes when I get scared, I said, I'm out. I'm the marketing guy. And then so, I mean, there are times where you have moments, but some of that demonic stuff can get very sticky. It can get very scary. And those things can hurt you. They can physically hurt you. They can physically hurt the people that you love. And it just goes down a tumultuous end. And this happens when you're not with professional investigators that have been doing this for 30. My team combined experience is close to 100 years.
Wow.
That's how long we've been doing this together. And there's so many teams out here that do things the wrong way. There's so many TV shows that teach you the wrong way. And people are so dedicated to these devices and these systems of paranormal investigation that are not right. You're not doing it the right way, man. And so that's why when we do our investigations at this new place, Emmaus, I'll be honest with you, man. When you go out, you and your partner go out tomorrow night, we don't know what's there, bro. Like we haven't investigated this place fully. We've investigated maybe 20 hours. And I can honestly tell you, and I'm not just saying this because we're trying to raise money for the place. So every one of our investigations, when you buy tickets, you learn how to investigate, but you also are giving money back to these beautiful places like Emmaus Village that want to be rebuilt, that want to be restored for businesses. And Mandy and Ben over there have this, and George, they have this brilliant idea of just bringing this place back and make it a co-working space and having this lovely village come back to life. And that's what paranormal investigations are supposed to do. We're supposed to help history. We're supposed to read history. We're supposed to understand our history. And then we're supposed to help those that are disembodied, so disembodied being human, transition and clear those buildings and make it a place where people want to come and not get creeped out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's what you're supposed to do. But the problem is that so many investigators just want to keep the place haunted. So they bring in Ouija boards and they bring in these different people and these different psychics and mediums and they're conjuring stuff. And we use people like Vicky Main, Dan's good friend Heidi. We have really good mediums. Brittany Buckwalter out of Hannibal, Missouri, amazing psychic. They come in and they bring the light. They bring positivity and they try to clear the buildings that way. So it's such a well-rounded experience that even if you're just not sure about the paranormal and you're really just curious and you want to come along, check out one of our events. And I guarantee you, it's like nothing else you'll experience. We just do it the right way. And it's a lot of fun. You don't always get everything. I tell a lot of people it's like bass fishing. Sometimes they bite, sometimes they don't. But at the end of the day, we try to give a good experience where you leave learning and you're wanting to come back. I mean, that's the point. And then that money that you're giving to us, 50% of that is going to that establishment. And you're going to start seeing this building come back to life. And our first real goal is to get the elevators working because I have a real heart for veterans that are disabled, lost limbs. They want to ghost hunt, man, but they can't get upstairs.
Yeah.
Some of them are in wheelchairs. Some of them have, they're just got their legs back on it. They're not really, you know what I'm saying? So we're trying to do things where we can get these guys back in the buildings ghost hunting. And so we need to get those elevators up. We need to make this place ADA compliant again for those guys. So that's our first real vision as a team. That's the first thing we want to do with these buildings, get those elevators working again so we can have ADA compliancy and have our guys, that are in wheelchairs that can go out and ghost hunt with us. And it's just not fair that they're not able to in most places. And most places don't need to have certain calculated stuff to go or any kind of because they're condemned. A lot of these places they're not up to code anyway, and you got to sign a waiver. So it's those types of things that is our vision. And that was kind of long-winded, and I apologize. But that's kind of the well-roundedness of the whole thing.
Well, my ears actually perked up when you brought the biblical aspect of it. You mentioned the Book of Enoch. It's not so much what they would think canonical, which even though it's quoted in the Bible, I think there's another book, the Book of Jasher, I think is another one. But Jasher, it was talking about the Watchers in the the fallen angels. And I want to say it's Genesis 6:2 when it talks about them, the men of renown, the heroes of old, and referred to them as the Nephilim. I think there's Raphaim as well, the Seraphim. There's different, and there's different versions of them. I would say a lot of what I believe, and I came into this, I never believed in ghosts at all. I was a Christian from the time I was, old enough to remember anything till, I was born again, when I was 22, but I didn't believe it. I was either, once you die, you go one place or the other, and that was it. I lived in a house actually that completely changed my mind. Had an experience where I just could not, I couldn't reason it away or rationalize anything to say, oh, well, it could have been this or that. No, something definitely happened. My wife came forward and actually admitted that she had something that I just kind of pushed off, at first, that, oh no, it's nothing. But I believe that the place was demonic, either demonic or maybe even a poltergeist. I think there's a connection with the poltergeist and UFO activity as well. I've only had, I've had a couple small paranormal experiences, but my paranormal experience happened in this house. My UFO encounter happened while I was at that house,
and
I lived there for a year. So
as you have Stephen King stuff all over tattooed on you.
Absolutely. I love, when you said you were talking about Christine, and that was another thing. I'm like, I'm a huge Stephen King fan as well, but I really do. I think that it's something with the energies, our frequencies, and whether they're on this plane, or another one. I think that they try to maybe terraform our reality so that they can inhabit it, and there's a lot of stuff, like you said, you don't want to kind of play around with it. And witchcraft has been talked about like it's just this woo-woo stuff. But if it was just, if it was a bunch of nonsense, then we wouldn't have been warned about it in the Bible, and why not to practice it. So, I think it can open a lot of doors.
Exactly. And people say that a lot too. I don't see witches as a name. They're actually called necromancers. They're all over the Bible.
Right.
Anyone that talks to the dead. And the thing that the question that I pose, and this is a hard one for a lot of people. I'm not a cryptid person. And I'm not really a UFO person. UFOs to me will always will be trickster demons. Those are demonic forces at work. And I know this because of the 89 cases when the person that was being abducted by aliens was Christian and called out the name of Christ, the aliens left.
That is weird that just happens to be that name that scares them away.
And it's the most powerful name that you could use, which is why I could sit in the car right now with a vintage Ouija board and be totally fine with it, because having Christ is a very important thing. But look at our world. Look at the world that we're in right now. And I know your show's political, so I don't really have a problem saying this. But we had a DNC convention that was literally outside killing babies.
Yeah.
And people were celebrating it. You don't think that this is part of the blood of the innocent? Does anybody read the Bible? Has anybody read Red Dragon? Maybe somebody should. Maybe somebody should read Return of the Dragon. When you read these books, you understand what is going on in our world. Why are we so close to the paranormal now? Why are more paranormal things happening more than ever right now? And it's because we're growing closer to something. The Bible is really specific on saying you will feel the earth and the earth will have birthing pains. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the pains of it. We're seeing the pains of how lost we've become as a species. Every major empire that fell was obsessed with gender before they fell.
Yes.
And people just don't read. They just don't want to read. They want to read these crazy books about the 1619 Project that doesn't have an ounce of actual historical fact in it. But these books are being praised. Why? Because it is a distraction from Christ. It is a distraction and leading people astray. If people tell me that they're liberals or Democrats, they don't believe in any of that nonsense, let me tell you something. The devil don't need you. Right. He already got you. So those types of things, for me, are one of the reasons why I am a paranormal investigator. I try to get to the bottom of things. I try to find out what is going on in our world. But the things that are always the same, and there's a great podcast that I've been at odds with. We battle back and forth, me and them, because they don't like me in the field. They don't like me doing a paranormal investigation. But Haunted Cosmos is an incredible podcast that basically is telling people the Word of God and how to use the Word of God in paranormal and to stay away from certain places. But when you have Christ in your life and you become that follower, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of being in these places.
Well, Frankie, hold that thought, because we're going to take a quick break and come back, because all of this stuff, the birthing pains of the earth. We've got volcanoes in Iceland. We've got hurricanes, so many crazy things that have happened that I even recorded. We just talked about it before you came on. I'm going to get your take on this. So don't go anywhere. We're talking with Frankie from the Haunted Garage, who's here on this network every Saturday to 9 to 10 p.m. But we're going to unveil a little bit more about Emmaus Village and the paranormal here on Stay and Fight when we come back for the 5th segment.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. This is SR1.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the Morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Columbo and Company, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL.
Hey, Tony Colombo here with Tim Jones for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway, the #1 home selling team in the St. Louis area. And I can say that from firsthand experience. My wife and I were blown away from the results that we saw from working with Rodney and Jen, from selling our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible to finding our family's perfect new home. They over-delivered every step of the way. And right now, it's still very much a seller's market. So, Tim, for folks that have been thinking about selling their home, it's a perfect time to call the Wallners.
That's right, Tony. And don't forget, they're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois, so no matter where you are in the metro area, you can put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. The Wallners' experience and work ethic, second to none. And of course, the numbers speak for themselves. The Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. Right now, they're working with so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner home selling team.
Looking for a hardware store that treats you like family? Welcome to True Value Schneider's Hardware, your local gem in Old Town St. Peters. For over 100 years, we're proudly serve you St. Charles County, providing everything from lawn and garden supplies to plumbing and electrical. Need a bolt or fastener? We've got you covered. And don't forget, we're a steel dealership. Whether you need sales, parts, or service, ask for Charlie or Jerry when you come in. We're here to help. Call 636-278-4461 or visit us online at truevalue.com/Schneiders.
For over 50 years, Di Gregorio's Italian Market has been serving up a taste of Italy right here in St. Louis. Family owned and operated, nestled in the heart of the hill. From homemade sausage and meatballs to spadini, pizzas, pastas, and sauces, our wide variety of Italian specialties will transport your taste buds straight to Rome. For a truly authentic Italian shopping experience, visit your friends at Di Gregorio's. Shop local, shop Di Gregorio's Italian Market, where every bite tells a story.
Hello, Tim Jones here with Eric from Newsteaders Fine Jewelers. Eric, your diamonds are so fantastic at Newsteaders. You named the website after them, wowdiamonds.com. Tell us about Wow Diamonds.
Well, we picked that name because when people look at the diamonds, they all exclaim the same thing. Everybody says, wow. And nobody can spell Newsteaders, so we figured Wow Diamonds would definitely be a good tagline, and it's very accurate. We actually introduced the lab-grown diamond to our St. Louis family, and we're the exclusive home of the trademarked Wow Diamond. It's the most perfectly cut and polished diamond you'll ever experience, and we can fit one into anyone's budget. The thing that's nice about them is they're significantly less expensive than a mined diamond, and of course the artwork is in the cutting and polishing. That's where you get the beauty in the diamond, and that's what we excel at.
Newsteaders, a St. Louis jewelry tradition since 1961. Stop by and find out why. 2961 Daughtery Ferry Road, or on the internet, wowdiamonds.com for Newsteaders Fine Jewelers.
Hey, St. Louis, it's Dan Bongino, proud to be part of the News Talk STL lineup.
Every weekday from 11 to 2, we'll get together to talk about what's going on.
News, analysis, opinion, and always some fun. Make an appointment to be with us every weekday beginning at 11 on News Talk STL.
Welcome home.
Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer, brought to you by Missouri Wild Alchemy at MissouriWild.com.
Welcome back to the best show on Sunday nights between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. on News Talk STL, SR1 Sundays. I am Nick Schroer, standing and fighting with the brothers, Eric and Ethan, brothers from other mothers. And we have a very special guest with a very special project we're working on, Frankie from the Haunted Garage. You can hear him every Saturday between the hours of 9 and 10 p.m. I think they're the best show on Saturday nights and between the hours of 9 and 10 p.m. And Frankie, you kind of unveiled it a little bit about the Emmaus Village stuff that we're going to be joining together with tomorrow night. Tell us a little bit more about Emmaus Village and what we're going to be doing for this very special project here on News Talk.
Well, you got a double whammy here. My partner Dan Klein actually just pulled up in the parking lot and I had him join me in my car.
Nice.
So you got both of us here. So Dan can actually go through Emmaus for you right now. Dan?
Yeah. What we're going to do tomorrow night, we're going to, what did you ask?
Yeah, just basically about Emmaus Village, how we came upon it and stuff.
Yeah, it's a great location. We came across, Frankie's friend found it, another partner of ours, went out there. It's just amazing. It's huge. 70 acres of buildings that cover just the buildings alone, and then 300 plus more acres with just the woods and the cemeteries.
There's 4 cemeteries on the property. So it started as a seminary in 1839, and it moved into a kind of more of a place to help people. And then when the seminary moved, it became an asylum for epilepsy and feeble-minded, which is what they called it back then. So essentially a mental illness institution at the time. The thing that sometimes, wires get crossed, right? Turn of the century medicine, we didn't really know a lot. We were probably doing things wrong and people got hurt in the process of medical practice. So a lot of those things that have to date, what Amanda has put together as far as obituaries, as far as deaths on the property, probably number over 200. There's also a lot of tragic deaths that happened, including being burned alive in buildings for some of our paraplegic people that couldn't get out of the building, and essentially they were killed inside the building. And all of this is documented inside it. So we believe there are a lot of spirits there that might be confused, as in life, so in death. And so they might not be able to know how to transition. So they might be confused and wondering, how they get to that next level. You also have tragedies. One of the nurses there, whose father was actually one of the reverends there at the turn of the century, Reverend Stern. So Stern's daughter, Marie, was running a bath in the therapy because she was doing the night shift, but she stayed there too. She'd grown up there as a kid. She had eye surgery, and something they gave her gave her very lightheadedness. And when she was running the water, she passed out and fell into the water, not knowing that the temperature was way above normal. Back in the day, they had boilers, and the water basically boiled her alive when she was unconscious. So there's a lot of tragedies that have happened throughout the building. We have never sensed in the 20 hours that we've done thus far malevolency. We don't sense that. We do have a lot of disembodied voices. So what disembodied voices are is you can basically hear them audibly. You will see this, you will hear this tomorrow night. And I can say that very openly and freely, that when you, Tony, and Emily, and all of us get together, we'll be on different floors of this place. There's a laugh that follows Dan for some reason. This kid likes to laugh at Dan for some reason. I don't know what it is. But you'll hear this, ha ha, and it'll go, and it's loud. We've caught it on one of our recorders. We've actually caught our first couple apparitions as well. And they go anywhere from ghostly, so kind of transparent, to fully solid. We also call these apparitions mimics. They might be mimicking something that's going on in the building, and right now they're running haunted tours every weekend, which is why we're doing our hunt on Monday. So we're kind of away from the business that is going on right now, which has continued to be really cool. It's a 2-hour tour. It's every weekend up until November 9th, I believe, is the last date of it. And you can go through Emmaus for 2 hours. It is not an investigation. It basically takes you back in history to different scenes. It's a little spooky. It's nothing crazy. There's no jump scares, but it's a great place to visit these buildings and help out a great cause over at Emmaus Village right now. So what me and Dan are doing is a little different in the fact that we're trying to get to the bottom of who is maybe haunting the buildings. And so far we've been concentrating on one building, which is the Sets building. That's the building we've been in the most, although we've investigated the other buildings. The science that we're trying to do here, and I really call it science, is trying to do scientific method, right? Trying to make things happen as they did the last time we were there, right? We're following that method. Can they happen again? Can we hear this again? Can we get these disembodied voices to come back? And can we have really good data to pull from that? So you will be given a body cam. You and your buddies, whoever's coming out, will be given body cams. These are police law enforcement caliber. They're all 4K. And they record for 11 hours. We won't be there for 11 hours, but they'll record. They'll sit on your chest the whole night. They'll be recording the whole night, audio and video. We'll take those back to the lab. We'll go through all your footage. So you might not catch it with your eyes, but we might catch it with the camera. And sometimes what we've experienced at Emmaus, it's both. You will hear it, and then you will record it. And that often does not happen. Ghosts are not stupid. And that's the thing too, people don't understand. The paranormal is pretty smart. They're pretty in tune to what is going on. And so some of the things that we've been doing at Emmaus is like, it's a very fresh hunt. No one has, this building closed in 2017. So this is a fresh, basically way of we do other places that are just as haunted, but I think Emmaus right now is a place that's never been explored. No one's asked anything of the entities in the building, and so now for the first time they're being very reactive to the things that we're doing. We're also showing and building lines of trust, so we're always calm. We always take things the right way. We ask that, we have services. We ask that people, if they do see something, I know it can be scary, but please do not run. The number one rule of ghost hunting is do not make more ghosts. Because you're in the dark, you're in these buildings, you just kind of want to either signal, you'll have a walkie on you, and just for the guys I'm experiencing. So it's kind of like the scene with Bill Murray. You're playing the Ghostbuster sign, and he radios everybody in. They're like, guys, I have. And hopefully it's Slimer. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
But it would be awesome. So it's those types of things. We walk you through everything. And so just to show, my last segment, we got into some of the dark stuff. That is my opinion. And I'm open to other people on my team's opinion too. I'm a Catholic. I'm a strong Catholic. But I respect everyone that's on our team. Not everybody believes what I believe. Not everybody gets into the weeds like I do. Some of those guys are just out there. My best friend in the world is kind of maybe 75% where I'm at. He's not fully engaged in where I'm at. There's other people on our team that believe fully in aliens, and they believe they're from other planets, and they're coming to visit us, and letting us know, or giving us high fives. I don't know why they're coming. Maybe they like the cheeseburgers at Culver's. I don't know. But the thing is, like, we all have different opinions. But the number one thing about our team is it's structured. You get a little bit of everything. So you'll have our spiritualists, we have our mediums, we have our guys that are Catholic and rooted in that. And when scary stuff happens, they like to have me around, But, at the same time, like, it is about respect, and it is about having everybody there vibing together, because it is a very, I would say colorblind in a sense of, everybody kind of vibes. We're all out here to do justice. We're all out here to do the respect thing. So that's what we're trying to bring to Emmaus as well.
Well, I know Eric and I are looking very much forward to joining this project, and I'm hoping with News Talk they're going to have this special aired right before Halloween to give everybody the heebie-jeebies, but also a history lesson that can educate us on this very important area dating back to, like you said, 1839. It's in my Senate district, so that's why I'm very interested in it as well. But let me throw something at you, because we talked about last Saturday, I was under the weather, recorded something that I saw. I didn't know if I was having a stroke, so I had to get it on camera, and I showed the guys here tonight. It's this linear line of lights that keep popping up out near that area, out near where we're going to be, and then all of these other sporadic lights in the sky. Nobody can explain this, but then when you go to social media, you see very similar lights that happened in Indiana, in DC, in Texas. I mean, we're seeing a lot of this unexplained behavior. And like you said, could it be aliens? There's a crew out there that believes that. Could it be this paranormal stuff, the spirits? What do you think could explain these different lights that I saw, that people in Indiana and other states are seeing right now?
Well, we're growing. So so there's one side of it, right? There's a demonic side, and I could talk about that, and I could talk about another side of it. We don't start seeing UFOs. We don't start witnessing UFOs until talks or we're doing stuff with nuclear weapons. Right now, this administration has put us closer to World War III than any other administration in our history, okay, since nuclear weapons have been around. So let's be factual. When nuclear weapons are involved and you live on another planet and you know what that can do, would you not come and rescue us? I would, because they know what that destruction looks like, and it could harm them. It could harm the universe. We don't know the very fabric of space. We don't know what could happen possibly if these things all start launching and Iran starts getting into it, and Russia. And it's baffling to me that people do not see that. They're just going around and putting signs in their yard, and like a guy's calling himself a knucklehead, and this is nuclear war,
right,
guys? So when you see stuff like that, that is mostly when you start getting more UFO sightings. And if you see what's going on in Vegas, if you see what's been going on in Arizona, there's been a lot of lights in the sky recently. The last time we saw this was Cuban Missile Crisis. Last time we saw this was 1947 Roswell. What was happening during this time? This is the Cold War. This is when we're threatening nuclear again. So when you're seeing these things are also happening. And I believe it has something to do with either protection or just going to knock it all out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for me, it could be either or, right? I don't have the facts in front of me, but what I do have is kind of the knowledge that I've read about and some of the stuff that I've studied a little bit on. But like anytime you get into nuclear war, we start seeing a lot of UFOs for some reason. Now, maybe it's our own technology. Maybe it's something we did capture. Maybe it's something that we've reverse engineered. I don't know. But it's weird to me that we're starting to see, and a lot more people are aligned. Our own government is saying that, yeah, we've caught some UAPs and stuff like that. I'm like, what do you mean? And nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. Like,
Right.
They came out and said there's UFOs. And everybody was like, okay, I'm still going to have the euro. Like, it was just, like, so strange to me. Like, no one stopped in the footing, right? Like, they just really didn't care. And I was like, wow, bro. We have ETs, and people rather get French fries at McDonald's right now.
That's the concept I talked to you about, that Hollywood has made us so normal to what all the alien movies and everything that now the government's like, there's UFOs, and no one's like, okay, well, let's have another euro, let's go get some fries, and we've done that for a while.
Yeah.
You know, so we've been immune to it, really.
Exactly. They've built this callous nature of humanity. Like, and I believe deep down, some people actually want to see that happen. Some people do want to see Star Wars. God knows they need a better plot. So maybe they're coming down for that. I don't know. Maybe aliens are like, hey guys,
I'd love to see an alien.
Yeah. I'm into it, right?
I'm just gonna leave a bunch of glasses of water everywhere.
Exactly, like on signs, right?
Yeah.
It's funny you bring up the connection with UFOs and the nuclear programs and stuff. Rendlesham Forest, that was I think Christmas time, 1980. And it was like a joint base with with the United States and England or Britain. And that's like one of the most documented, UFO encounters that happened over the span of, I want to say like 3 or 4 days. And I mean, I'm listening to the stories with all of this stuff. And I mean, it does kind of make sense. Are they trying to warn us? Maybe it's either they know what it could do. Maybe they're here to harvest some of the energy. I mean, there's a lot of theories. I don't want to say I believe so much in
maybe they're here to take
aliens,
back Tim Walz.
Maybe. I mean, that dude is weird.
But coming for
it's I don't believe that it's like from outer space worlds. I'm not big on that. I'm more on dimensional or parallel universe or just some different planes. That's kind of where my mind makes the most sense of how these things happen. So
yeah, you notice too, like the weird thing about the paranormal is that the Mandela effect keeps getting added to. We keep adding things to the Mandela effect.
Yes.
How are we doing that? Like Tinkerbell totally dotted the I.
Well, Mandela effect. Let me ask you this. Britney Spears and the "Hit Me Baby One More Time." What was her skirt?
It was the red plaid skirt.
Schoolgirl.
Yeah.
Right. It was a plaid skirt, right? Nope. It was black.
Yeah.
Fake news.
I'm telling you right now. I mean, that came out. I mean, we're like, me and Brittany are like the same age.
Boy, Nick, I can tell you it was black.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was in high school when that video came out,
agree.
and I watched that every time it was on TV. I had that memory burned into my brain. It was
boys.
plaid.
I think we're gonna have a lot of great conversations to air whenever this project is done. But we're gonna be meeting you guys. We've got Frankie and Dan from the Haunted Garage. Thank you so much for taking some time this Sunday to join us on Stand and Fight. I think we're going to be standing and fighting in the Haunted Garage tomorrow.
Absolutely. You will absolutely be standing and fighting. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, we're looking forward to it. God bless you, boys. Thank you for everything you do, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Nick. We'll see you guys.
That is going to be a lot of fun, and we will keep you guys updated on when all the audio, all the video, the special here on News Talk is going to be available before Halloween. Don't go anywhere. We've got more spooky and scary crap that's happening in our world. We'll unveil in our 6th and final segment here on Stand and Fight.
This is SR1.
Hi, this is Curtis Barks from Complete Auto Body and Repair. We're now open at our new location in Cottleville. Whether you have a newer driver in high school or you're sending someone off to college, get a little peace of mind by getting an oil change along with a systems and fluid check done by our professionals. Come in to Complete Auto Body and Repair at our new Cottleville location on Highway N, just west of Mid Rivers. Online at CompleteAB.com. Others can't compete with Complete.
Dad and service.
Oh, yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
So you want Steph's Pizza, but you're in Lake St. Louis and it's just too far to go. Not anymore. Now you can feed that Steph's Pizza craving quickly and conveniently in Lake St. Louis. Same great menu with a new location, 111 Pond Fort Trail in Lake St. Louis. Steph's Pizza in the Chesterfield Valley on Long Road, in St. Peter's on Jungerman, and now in Lake St. Louis. Check them out at stephspizza.com because tonight's a good night for Steph's Pizza.
Be sure you make an appointment with the doctor, Dr. Johns. Spice things up a little bit. Novelties, lingeries, videos, oils, lube, and more. If you're looking for something out of the ordinary, Dr. Johns has you covered. Your one-stop shop destination to fulfill all your fantasy and add some zing to your love life. 3 locations in Fenton, Farmington, and Wood River. So be sure you make an appointment with the doctor, Dr. Johns, and be sure you tell him News Talk STL sent you.
Connor Roofing, you can count on Connor. Congratulations to the awesome team at Connor Roofing for earning the 2024 National Best of the Best Award for Customer Satisfaction. Connor Roofing has now won back-to-back honors because they do outstanding work in all types of roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. We chose Connor Roofing without telling the owners, Rob and Kathy Connor. Their customer reviews are some of the best in the country. Please read them. Visit ConnorRoofing.com and request an estimate. Connor Roofing, you can count on Connor.
Mom, can we go to Kirkwood Popco?
Oh, you bet. With 19 flavors and new surprises every month, it's a popcorn paradise.
Kirkwood Popco. Family owned and popping up smiles in the heart of Kirkwood. We're talking real butter, authentic spices and flavors, and it's peanut free, so everyone can enjoy. From party favors to teacher gifts, Kirkwood Popco has you covered. Tins, bags, even popcorn bars. They've got it all.
Trust me, it's popping good.
Find them at 108 North Kirkwood Road and kirkwoodpopco.com.
In the fast-paced world of digital marketing, making connections is a challenge for any business. But what if we told you there is a place where connections aren't just made, they're grown? Meet 2060 Digital, your premier Google partner and top-tier digital agency. We don't just follow trends, we set them. At 2060 Digital, we're not just another agency, we're your strategic partner. We dive deep into your challenges and develop solutions that drive measurable outcomes. Ready to elevate your digital presence with campaigns that connect? Google 2060 Digital today.
Witness the drama behind closed Vatican doors. Win tickets to see Ralph Fiennes in Conclave. Advanced screening, Monday, October 21st at the Alamo Drafthouse. Your exclusive chance to win at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer. Brought to you by Missouri Wild Alchemy at MissouriWild.com.
Chasing that same old devil down the same old dead-end highway. Riding that storm run through my veins like a shot down tailspin airplane. I'm scared of nothing and I'm scared to death.
Welcome back to the 6th and final round here on Stand and Fight, where anything can knock you out. And I'll tell you right now, this is a crazy one. Happening in a public school, happening in America, happening in Texas. They're screwing with our kids.
Have you been getting a special sticker in school? He said, yes, Mommy, I get a special sticker. I said, what does the sticker look like? He said, I get it right here on my hand, and it has the storms with the clouds and the stars and the moon. And so I said, well, when do you get it? He said, we get it, and after we get it, I go and sit down, and then after that, we go for our nap.
Spring ISD parents are pushing for criminal charges after they say teachers gave sleeping aids to their children.
2 Northgate Crossing Elementary School teachers, they have been removed now from class and placed on administrative leave as police investigate the allegations.
Investigate the allegations. I mean, the kids are coming home literally with the stickers on them. I will tell you, I'm kind of glad it didn't happen in Missouri.
Yeah.
Because I know a ton of parents that would be up there. And I don't think they'd be coming back.
There's a lot of mama bears in Missouri.
Ooh, they're pit bulls.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't understand why people in education think that they have the right and the authority to, just because somebody else's child is in their classroom, that they become the new authority to that child.
Well, remember when Hillary Clinton and even Claire McCaskill, I mean, they're cut from the same cloth, when both of them were talking about, it takes a village to raise these kids. And then they went even further, saying sometimes that village knows best. That's the mindset of a lot of these brainwashed woke people. Some of them are teaching our kids now. Look at the University of Kansas. I'm not going to play that audio clip, but there's a professor who said in a communications class, this was not a political science class, in a communications class, this woke professor is saying how anyone who doesn't want to vote for Kamala, we're going to have to line them up. Might as well just shoot them.
I heard about that. And he's like, oh, I hope nobody's. He tried to delete it. No, I think he's on paid leave.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's paid leave, but
because all the tenure crap.
It's just ridiculous.
But you put your hands on my kid, you put stickers with sleep aids on my kid.
Yeah.
No.
I will say though,
that crosses the line.
Just that comment, I will say you do have the right to say what you want. You have to deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
You can't say that kind of stuff. I don't wish him to be fired or canceled or anything.
No, I wish he's fired.
Well,
I wish he's fired because that's a public university.
It is. But I mean, if it's an adult, then and he's teaching adults, I think it's not that I don't care. It's just I don't really feel that. Well, I take that back. I've seen a lot of college people; they're idiots still.
Yeah,
but you would think that after going through school and getting up to that point in time, that you would be able to sniff out what's right and wrong. When somebody's feeding you a load of crap that that doesn't make any sense, but people literally believe anything that the TV tells them.
It's very, very true. And I think the case of Kamala is a perfect exhibit of people believing anything that the media is putting in front of you. And despite the fact that no matter where she goes, this is worse than Hillary Clinton or I've got hot sauce in my purse. This is worse than Barack Obama going before a white group and has a totally different accent and cadence. Then he goes in front of a mostly black group and talks totally different. Well, now there's a product for you. And I think the government, if Kamala wins, and I hope she doesn't, I pray she doesn't, if she wins, I think this thing would sell so many items that we could probably pay off all of our debt.
Who needs personality when you can switch who you are at the push of a button?
Oh, hello, young lady. Quite a marvelous day, isn't it?
Why does she talk so weird? Let me play with her.
Well, hey there, little nugget. I'm going to be the first black female president of the United States of America.
Man, this doll sucks.
Accent Switch Kamala can emulate any accent you like, as long as it grants her credibility.
Bonjour, you having a croissant?
Merde américaine.
Guten Tag, Sie lieben ein Bratwurst? Ufta, 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 da.
I am your mother.
But wait, there's more. All new Accent Switch Kamala comes with 2 bags of campaign money, a blind eye for illegal immigration, and her own multi-laugh 3000 generator. Laugh in every way possible. Let Accent Switch Kamala turn your life into a complete circus.
When you give me more money, like Uncle Joey did.
Don't you wear a little mad? The money's coming.
I don't understand.
Oh, excuse me, honey.
I meant to say the money is coming. I love ice cream coming on map.
It's Accent Switch Kamala and brand new Tampon Tim.
You know, my grandma always used to say, Kamala, Jono, please wash your hands so we can eat our chicken masala.
It's Accent Switch Kamala.
I'd buy it. I'd buy it. And generally, I don't buy a lot of the political stuff, but I would absolutely buy an Accent Switch Kamala Barbie doll.
But why aren't people just completely turned off by all of that? I mean, I've seen probably 4 or 5 different, rallies that she's done in different areas, and she talks completely different. So, obviously she's pandering. Joe Biden, I grew up in a black church, and then you see him in a black church, and he's like,
have you heard the Jamaican accent?
Have you no empathy, man? For the suffering of other people.
That was on late night. That was on one of the late night shows where she unveiled that one.
I mean, that's a real.
That is really Kamala. That is her talk. Now, give her credit. She has some Jamaican lineage.
Sure,
but that's not how she talks.
Right. I mean, if I had Chinese heritage, I'm not going to just all of a sudden just out of nowhere start speaking Mandarin. Yeah, she's an idiot.
As if that stuff's not cringe enough. And we promised you, we saved it for last. This is an actual commercial. This is an actual commercial that the Kamala Harris campaign said, you know what, guys, let's go ahead. Let's green light that thing because we're going to get votes with this. Tell me what you think.
I'm a man. I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough. I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon. Neat. Man enough to cook my steak rare. Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair. You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast. I ain't afraid of bears. That's what bear hugs are for. I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women. I'm not afraid of women. I'm not afraid of women.
This is the cringiest commercial.
I can't even see it, but I just hearing it, it just sounds like a
you need to go
Key and
look at it
Peele,
later.
You know,
Oh
my
is.
gosh.
I mean, you've got the strangest people. The most, if they show a bigger guy, he is the most obese, out of shape person. And then they show these people on the farm looking, the backdrop makes it look like, they're a farmer, they're a rancher. And it looks
It's all
like
green screen, I'm sure.
They couldn't even pull up their own boots. But I mean, who is that aimed at? Because if I'm an undecided voter and I
Right.
see that cringe crap, I'd say, whoa, wait a second here, bud.
Yeah, I will tell you right now, no man is gonna just vote just because, you know what? I saw this convincing commercial.
Yeah.
All these people, I'm man enough to do this and then braid my daughter's hair.
But they're not man enough to go after Doug Emhoff, who slapped the crap out of his girlfriend, who knocked up the maid. They're not talking about any of that. Is that what a man is? Is that the new masculinity? Or the
No.
fact that we've got Tampon Tim out there who signed bills to put tampons in men's restrooms, men locker rooms, who's fighting to allow men to compete and play against women and go in their locker rooms and go in their bathrooms. Is that manly? Hell no, it's not.
No.
But yet they're putting on this facade. They're putting on this mask to try and appease somebody, thinking that it's going to get them votes. Like the whole talk. And I promise this one for you too. We found the clip. This is Kamala Harris back in the day talking about guns, where, they're asking her the last time that she shot a gun, the last time she used a gun. And she basically, it's the cringiest thing that you've seen. She refuses to answer.
Real quick, Corna, have you shot a gun?
Yes, I have.
Tell us about the last time.
No.
No, but do you hunt or what do you do?
I'm a good marksman. Yes, I have shot a gun many times.
You're a good marks person with a pistol or a rifle?
A pistol. And I'm not, that's it. I'm not going any further with it.
Concealed weapon permit.
I'm not going any further.
She's not going any further because there's no proof of it. And
At
now
all.
when they're pressing it about, hey, you got a gun, she was the one sponsoring and supporting bills to make it illegal to have the type of gun that she even claims she has, a Glock. And there's zero proof in the communist state of California, where you have to have proof of ownership. Guess what? There's no proof that she has ever or even owns it presently, owned it before, owned it now. She's a liar.
Yeah.
And Tim Walz just showed that he doesn't even know how to use his own, quote unquote, his own shotgun.
I think in California they supposedly accidentally leaked the entire registry of firearms. So I'm wondering if anybody can do a little sleuthing and look.
Well, I
and
think
see.
they have looked, and there is
she even
zero
on there?
evidence that she owns or owned any gun.
So then she's breaking the law. Then she's shooting, guns
what's
that
gonna
aren't hers.
happen? What's gonna happen?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a
darn
they're
thing.
never held accountable.
And that's why we created this show. And that's why we're urging you to get off your seats. And if you can, if you're a paraplegic, okay. Well, at least go on social media, go online, use your voice, use your fingertips. Stop being the silent majority. We need you to stand up, stand and fight, go out and vote, urge your people to vote, and pray. One of the most important things you can do is pray to save this republic. God bless you all. Have a great week.
This is SR1.
She learned the value of hard work and responsibility at her family's small business at an early age. Ann Wagner took those same hard-working Missouri values to Washington. She's made it her job to keep the radical left from harming your job. Today, in the midst of Joe Biden's out-of-control inflation, Ann Wagner protects us by working to lower costs for families. As a mother of three, she understands the work and has done it to keep your home and community safe. That's why Ann Wagner fought to secure our border and stop traffickers from smuggling fentanyl and illegal immigrants into our communities, and why she gave law enforcement the tools they need to defend us. And Ann Wagner took a stand against the defund the police radicals who will leave us in harm's way. She'll always back our brave law enforcement officers, putting conservative values to work for us. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Craven Farm Fresh goodness since 1997, Anthony's Produce is your one-stop autumn wonderland. We're talking pumpkins bigger than your head, mums so hearty they'll outlast your mother-in-law's visit, and straw bales perfect for decorating. Need firewood? They'll deliver enough to keep you toasty till the cows come home.